A very good morning. It is now just slightly after 7 o'clock, I believe, and it's 14 degrees. Can you believe it? 14 degrees in February. So I have been very fortunate, or if you prefer, very blessed, to have had good weather yesterday morning and this morning to enable me to walk to the gym and back, which is what I kind of hoped for, but I wasn't holding my breath, so to speak. So I'm able to walk, which is good as part of my exercise program. So I'm just going to be very brief because I'm walking so fast I'm going to run out of the ability to be able to talk and walk at the same time, or rather lose the ability. Right, so yesterday I got back, and because when I go I leave my sister in bed, and then I get back with enough time to get her up and organize her. So I'm going back when I first took up residence, for want of a better term. One of the carers would advise me that I don't need to be there all the time. I can just come weekends. But because I think worst case scenarios, it's not like I think the sky is going to fall down or anything like that. Gosh, I'm overheating already, so I'll have to slow down. Alright, because I think long-term scenarios or worst case scenarios, I think in terms of what if something happens when she's there by herself. So I got back and it had started raining, but it rained heavily, I think, for the last two days previous, especially on Sunday. So I went into her bedroom to ask her. I was just popping out to the shop, which is a 4-minute walk away, and I went to ask her if there's anything in particular she would like me to buy for her. And I noticed that the bed was wet right above her head. And I thought, oh, maybe I've rested my bag on it or something, and my wet swimwear had leaked through onto the bed. But then I thought, no, because I put everything, all the wet stuff, in 2 plastic bags, so it's drip proof. So anyway, I looked up to the ceiling and it was leaking, but I forgot that she lives on the top floor of number 404, and so it couldn't have been a neighbor upstairs. So I figured it was the roof leaking. Right, so I'm basically, the point of this video is to do with, like I said, thinking about worst case scenarios. So I looked up and I saw a leak in the ceiling, and that is what was dripping down on the bed. But at first thought was, actually the leak developed while I was away. It wasn't leaking when I left in the morning. So my first thought was, supposing I wasn't here and the carer, but she wouldn't know what to do. Because my sister, you can barely understand her when she talks. It's getting better, but it's not there yet. So it was a case of contacting the property management team and them sending someone to come and have a look at it. But the point is, had she been there by herself and someone had come to put her to bed, they would have seen the leak. Basically, it's the guy, the roofer, came around about, I think, 4:15, and Yes, so he came at that time and had a look at it. But the point being, nobody would have been there before that time to contact anyone, if at all they would have done, because they would have needed the details, which are on the notice board downstairs. So cutting a very long story short, the leak was still going at bedtime, so because it wasn't sort of dripping on her, but I mean it could have been. I could have got back yesterday from the gym and the quilt would have been soaking wet because there was like a big patch of water on the floor. But so it's just thinking in terms of what could happen. But I mean, something like that happened before in 1984 when I woke up and there was hot water dripping on my nose, and I looked up and there was water coming through the ceiling. It turned out to be a burst boiler, but it was me and my older sister in the bed. I woke her up, and you see, we could get out of the bed because we were able-bodied teenagers. And right, so basically what happened was this sister and mother were away in Jamaica. It's 1984, so we had to sort it out between us. Right, so we had to contact the council, but we got out of the bed and the ceiling fell down on the bed. So that could have been us. I'm not saying that it would have fallen down and we would have come to a sticky end or a very hot and wet end. But that's what happened. So that was one of the first thoughts, that the ceiling could come down. So this morning, even though I'm on my going to the gym every day while I can routine, had the ceiling still been leaking, I would have needed to not go, just in case the roof was going to come down, and I need to make sure that it's not going to collapse on her. But it stopped leaking, so that's all good. So that's the saga of that. So that's why I think in terms of the worst case scenarios, because even with me being there and just popping to the gym, I could have got back there yesterday and the ceiling could have collapsed on the bed on top of her. So I look at it this way: if I'm doing my bit, then God will do his bit. Right? Because people talk in terms of protection, but had I just decided that I'm going to do as a carer said, and I'll just pop in at the weekend and have a look at her to check on her, that wouldn't have been me doing my bit. But I think I've exhausted the topic of talking about others, not pitching in. People talking, sending love and all of that, and not pitching in. So let's imagine that the ceiling had collapsed and something had happened. I would have got the blame. Where was she? She was supposed to be there looking after her. And, we see stories of people dying alone. And they've got loving relatives, supposedly, who then want to blame the council or blame the social worker or blame somebody else. As far as I'm concerned, if you've got your family and people that you are going to come out and start wanting to sue left, right and centre and blame others, then you really should be ashamed if you were in contact with them to the point where they've been left for weeks on end or something, or they've got no one else but the carer, and then you're going to act like the concerned relative or a friend. Too bad. So I will leave that there, and I will Well, like I said, the weather's good, so God's looking after me, and I'm able to do what I wanted to do, which is walk. And even though it was raining overnight and on the ground is wet, it's not raining at all. So I will have had my 25 minutes walking, my 25 minutes speed walking by the time I get to the gym, and then my time in the pool, because I can stay as long as I like up until 10 o'clock. So had it been like a Monday morning, I would have needed to get the bus, because I only have 1 hour on a Monday. So there you go. God looks after those who look after themselves. And I think as regards my sister, she is getting better. You can see she's more alert, and her coordination is back after a fashion. She doesn't look like there's something wrong with her anymore. So she's getting there slowly but surely. And bear in mind, what she has is supposed to be degenerative. She's not supposed to be recovering. But as I've stated many times, because I'm somebody who doesn't see the point in aging, in the old age. There's nothing positive about it. There's nothing to look forward about getting old. It is my mindset that I'm bringing to the party. So you could argue that I don't believe in illness. When I say I don't believe in illness, I'm not saying that you're not going to get sick, but I don't believe in staying sick. It's the kill me or cure me principle, because I don't see the point in hanging around unable to live a fulfilled life. But that's me, so that's the attitude that I bring to the party. Her job is to get better, and she is. So I will leave it there. Have a good day and keep winning. And if you're not winning, why not? You know, you can. You can always do better tomorrow than you can today. What I say, it's not that you fall over, it's that you pick yourself up and you keep going. All right, take care, bye.